local. Now, WSFA 12 News starts with breaking news.
Good morning, everybody. This is John Shryock live at the WSFA First Alert Desk here at WSFA 12 News. We have a situation involving a number of police in Montgomery right now. We have very little information, but we do have a live scene that we can show you at this time. This is on the West Boulevard near Birmingham Highway in Montgomery. Numerous law enforcement officers on the scene. They have blocked off the road. They have given no indication as to what the situation involves. We have heard scanner traffic, but WSFA 12 News has not confirmed any information at this point. WSFA 12 News has reached out to the Montgomery Police Department, the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. Both agencies have responded, so they're working on it, trying to get confirmed information for us. The information that we do have confirmed at this time is traffic related. You can clearly see here at the Birmingham Highway and the West-South Boulevard that the roadway is blocked. The Prattville Police Department is telling WSFA 12 News that the southbound lanes of Birmingham Highway, US Highway 31, that is also blocked at the Alabama River Bridge coming out of Prattville into Montgomery. So if your travels take you southbound from Prattville into Montgomery, you need to find another route. You are not going to get through it this time. WSFA 12 News is going to leave this live shot up for a while. We are working to confirm information. We will bring you that information as soon as we have it. Going to recap here what we know from the situation, which at this point, frankly, is not a whole lot. If you were just logging into the live stream, WSFA 12 News is on the scene of, obviously, as you can see from the video here, heavy police presence. Do not have a lot of confirmed information at this point other than traffic. This is at the Birmingham Highway, or US Highway 31, in the West Boulevard in Montgomery. multiple law enforcement units on the scene there. We do know from the Prattville Police Department, so the other side of the situation, Prattville coming into Montgomery, the southbound lanes of Highway 31 are closed at this time at the Alabama River Bridge. So if you use US Highway 31 coming from Prattville into Montgomery, you need to find an alternate route. You will not get through, and from the looks of it, you will not get through for quite some time. WSFA 12 News has reached out to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. We've reached out to the Montgomery Police Department. Both of those agencies have confirmed to us that they are working on getting information to us. At this point, they do not have anything that they can share. At this point, we are going to continue watching this live stream, and we will break in as soon as we have something to share. All right, folks, I understand the WSFA 12 News reporter Simon Schuessler is now on the scene. Hope to get some information from him very shortly, so stand by.
sits out in this heat, or sun, it'll be hot.
All right. You see me, John? Okay. Just let me know when I'm up. You sound good. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Simon Schusler. I'm reporting right now on Birmingham Highway, looking north towards its intersection with the Western Boulevard, where there is a large police presence. Now, there's only about 3 cop cars directly near me. That's because they're blocking off the road. The actual scene seems to be about a quarter mile north of me here, right near that intersection of the Western Boulevard and Birmingham Highway. We don't really know any details that are confirmed yet as to what has happened here. We have reached out to police, both state and Montgomery police. They have acknowledged our request, still obviously early in whatever investigation this is. So they're working to get us details that we'll pass along to you as soon as we get them. But for a frame of reference, if you're kind of unfamiliar, this is kind of how you get to Prattville if you're from in the West Montgomery area. Western Boulevard is right at that light about a quarter mile up where all that scene is. And this is Birmingham Highway heading north. Now, like I said, not a lot of details here. I'd probably count close to a dozen cop cars in all at this scene. So it seems like they've really brought out in full force to respond to whatever has gone on here. But traffic is blocked off in both directions, so if this is a part of your commute, definitely plan to kind of skip around that. But right now, this is really all we have. We're sitting about a quarter mile from the scene, looking north at the intersection of Western Boulevard and Birmingham Highway, and we will pass along those details as we get them. So stay tuned. I'll be live in our new newscasts. So if we get any details between now and then, you'll be the first to hear live on WSFA.
All right, thanks so much, Simon. Simon Schusler out there on the scene. We will continue watching this. As Simon said, again, we will certainly try and get you as much information as possible. All right, folks, I understand that they have just opened the road in the area where our reporters are, so please bear with us. We are walking closer to the scene. That's why the camera is jerking back and forth. Our camera crew has picked up their camera and they are walking closer to the scene. If you're just joining us, you are watching coverage not on air. We're not on WSFA 12 News' airwaves right now with this information. This is strictly a digital-only broadcast on our Facebook, YouTube accounts, our website, our mobile app. We are trying to determine what is going on the Birmingham Highway and the West Boulevard in Montgomery. This is the stuff that you don't usually see on TV. It's usually much more polished, but we are trying to get closer to the scene. We can tell you that police have blocked off the Birmingham Highway and the West Boulevard. Prattville police have blocked off Highway 31 at the Alabama River Bridge, so you cannot get through in that situation. We have heard a lot of police scanner information, things that you might expect would cause a situation like this, but we're not going to speculate on what the situation involves at this point. WSFA does not use scanner traffic since it's not confirmed. We have no confirmation that anyone is dead or that anyone has been shot at this point, so we're not going to report anything like that. We have reached out to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. We've reached out to the Montgomery Police Department. Both of those agencies have acknowledged our request for information. They are working on it right now, but the situation is clearly very fluid, developing at this point, and they just don't have any information that they can share with us at this point. But we are working to get that information confirmed. I was told by Simon Schusler just a few minutes ago when he arrived on the scene that there wasn't a whole lot that he could see at that point. They're actually about a quarter mile away from the scene, so it's going to take them just a minute or two to get there. So bear with us. We don't have another shot that we can turn to at this point. This is what it is, and we are going to have a camera shot that's a lot closer to the scene, hopefully very soon. And it looks like Simon Schusler is now commenting in the comments section of our Facebook feed, so if Simon has anything to say, he can certainly put it there. All right, it looks like our shot is stabilized. Maybe we'll get an actual scene here in just a minute. Looks like the camera's still pointed at the ground. Continuing to check my email, talk with the producers here in the WSFA 12 newsroom. Still don't have any other confirmed information other than the traffic situation. Still continuing to work on that. Now, I saw somebody in the comments section a second ago who said that we need to show up on the scene of more situations like this, and we would love to. The streaming situation that we're in now is something that we love to bring you the live aspect of things, but it is tricky to show up on the scene of an active live law enforcement investigation. A lot of factors play into it. Do we have the resources in place to be able to quickly get to the scene? A lot of times, you wouldn't believe it, we get people out the door, they're on the road, and the scene is essentially cleared up. Police have wrapped it up that quickly, so that plays into it somewhat. There are other situations where police will block the media way back from the scene, so there's essentially no scene that we can see. Other times, the situations are just too dangerous. WSFA does not typically send our crews into situations that are active where there's gunshots being fired, things like that. We try to stay back from those situations. But it is a case-by-case basis. In any respect, we do reach out to the police department to find out what's happening or what did happen. So we will continue to cover things. We may not have that live aspect to every situation. This situation is certainly different. The situation is live. The situation has a lot of law enforcement investigators, and they've blocked off traffic. That's another aspect of things, and it doesn't look like they're going to go anywhere for a while. So we are going to continue watching this with a live feed and see if we can't get some information confirmed for you folks. So when we zoomed in a second ago, somebody pointed out law enforcement has set up a tent right in the median. Can't really see it that well in this situation, but you know, the police unit right in the middle of the screen, right in front of it, you can see the blue cap on top of that. They have set up a tent of some sort for some reason. Probably not a good indication that this is going to wrap up quickly.
feel like they'd be surrounding that vehicle. I see them searching in the wooded area over here. Somewhere in that little grassy area to the right. I see some cops walking over there. And that would make more sense. John wants me to hop on again.
We are going to bring WSFA 12 News reporter Simon Schuessler back in here momentarily, and he should be able to kind of give us an update on what he's seeing beyond the camera here.
Check.
We are now seeing for the first time a close-up of the situation. We can now see at least one crashed vehicle in the wood line here. Simon Schuessler on the scene. Hopefully he'll have some more information shortly.
Hey, this is Simon Schuessler back here giving y'all another update. We have been able to get closer to the scene. No official word yet back from police. They're still investigating this pretty hard, as you can see. You can't actually see the entire scene from here, but there's about 20 or so police cars, I would say, at this scene. And there's actually a tent that they've set up, and there's a few officers that I've been able to see just kind of camping out under that tent. So it seems like police will be out here for a while. Now, as I said, as you can see, we are a lot closer to this scene. Once again, this is at the intersection of the Western Boulevard and Birmingham Highway. Where I'm at right now is Birmingham Highway, and we're looking north, and they have completely shut off traffic heading north, but there is traffic still allowed to head south, as you can see by this car that is passing me right here. So one lane of traffic is open right now. They're definitely focused on this northbound lane. See some officers kind of going in a grassy patch over here. Now, I don't know if that's the area of the investigation, but it is kind of across from the tent that's set up. Like I said, we're just kind of having to go on what we see and what we hear and you know, what we can gather with our senses, because we don't have any confirmed information from police, but we have been able to get, I'd say, probably 30 yards away or so from the scene, and you know, I would say that's what, 6 or 7 unmarked cars, and there's at least a dozen officially marked Montgomery police cars. I haven't seen any state law enforcement so far on the scene. It'll be interesting to see if they come and assist MPD out here. But like I said, they've got a tent set up. So it seems like this could be a long day near the intersection of Birmingham Highway and the Western Boulevard out here for the Montgomery Police Department. If you're kind of don't know where that is, that's kind of the back way to Prattville if you're not taking the interstate, if you're in West Montgomery. So we're still working to provide updates. I'll be live at the top of our noon show on WSFA, so make sure you tune into that. And if we get any new details by then, I'll be sure to let you know. But so far, we still have no confirmed information from police. All we can see is this scene behind me, which I would estimate has around 20 to 25 police cars here. So tent set up, that's about all we know. We don't know if there's a car that's the focus of the investigation. I haven't personally seen any bullet casings or markings of where bullet casings were. So we're just going to have to wait for police to get us confirmation. And we have reached out to state and local police. Both have confirmed that they have received our request, but obviously still very early on in whatever investigation this is. We do not know what the nature of this investigation is on the record. So stay tuned. Like I said, I'll be live in a couple minutes on the noon show, and we'll have the latest there. So thank y'all for tuning into this First Alert Desk.
That was Simon Schuessler. Got to kill the audio there. That was Simon Schuessler reporting at the scene. We are going to continue watching this. As he said just a moment ago, we will take this on WSFA 12 News at noon. Our cameras have now trained their focus on the car that is in the grassy area right off the road. We can't tell if there are bullet holes or anything like that. Obviously, it is the center of the law enforcement's focus area. You see a police officer drinking some water. You can see the temperature down there in the bottom corner. It is now 90 degrees out there. It probably feels closer to 100. I'm no meteorologist, but it is certainly hot one way or the other.
Do you see what appears to be bullet holes in the top part of the windshield?
And we're getting our first indication that this is going to go beyond the local police department. We now see agents with the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives on the scene. Don't know what their role is going to be at this point, but certainly when you have a situation where there are federal agents involved, there's the Alabama State Bureau of Investigation. The gentleman's carrying a cooler with the SBI logo on it. This is certainly going to be larger than just a local municipal situation, maybe involving a police chase. We are about 5 minutes out from WSFA 12 News at noon. When that starts, we're going to flip the feed over to the noon broadcast for just a minute so we can get the on-air version of our coverage, and then we will come right back to this after that. It's going to be the top story, obviously, but we will certainly come right back to this feed when that happens. Hey, I haven't introduced myself. My name is John Shryack. I'm the digital content manager here at WSFA 12 News. I'm going to bring in somebody that you probably recognize a little bit more on television, and that is Gray's political reporter, Jessica Umbro. Jessica has a lot of experience on air. I do not, and Jessica can kind of help us with the scenes that are here, so I'll bring her in.
Hey everybody, so just want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing right now and why we may not have a ton of information as of yet. Whenever these scenes happen, especially when they have a large police presence, police, along with us, we have similar goals of not wanting to get out information that is later found to be inaccurate. So that's why the information's pretty sparse right now. Law enforcement is pretty tight-lipped about why exactly they're out there, what led up to the scenes that we're seeing, and what exactly they're investigating. So it's a little bit frustrating to not have those answers, but what we can see is obviously a very large police presence. We see Montgomery police. We see some that are labeled as canine units. We have seen the ATF on scene, as John mentioned a few minutes ago. It appears that there is an ambulance and maybe some other medical services off in the distance. It also might be a little bit frustrating because we're so far. That's typically designated by the law enforcement on scene as far as how close media can get. Obviously not trying to get in the way or interfere with any type of investigations, especially early on while these details are so sparse. But what we can see and what Simon and our photographer have been really filming closely is that car that's off the road. So we see a marker that's on top of the hood, so that could mean that they're looking at a potential bullet. It could mean that it's another piece of evidence that they're trying to mark and save for later. So we're still waiting on information as far as how that car ended up in that area. Obviously it's not on the road, so something must have happened to where the car, whether it was driven off the road or if it was moved there by police, or when I say moved, driven off the road by police.
Kind of like a pit maneuver.
Yeah, kind of like a pit maneuver in a chase. So what we don't see, and what obviously is interesting, is that nobody was in the vehicle, at least when we first saw that on our cameras. So what it looks like police are doing off in the distance, and this may be due to heat, this may be their own procedures. We see a couple of tents that are off in the distance past this intersection. Of course, this is shut down. This is Birmingham Highway and West Boulevard. So if you are looking to travel on this road, do not. We don't know when exactly this will be opening up. It does look like there's a little bit of a stream of cars coming on the other side of the highway, not on the side the police are focusing their search on, not on the side where this one car is off of the road. So not sure exactly yet if that means that full road is open or if they're letting some people who were kind of in this impacted area when this initially broke through. So it does look like there are some cars going through, but on the side that the police are on, that is a complete standstill. So if you're trying to get to Prattville or any of the areas of Western Montgomery that would typically be connected through Birmingham Highway, be sure to take 65.
We're going to pull over our on-air feed, on-air feed.
News at noon. I'm Jed Davis. We are following breaking news right now. We're on the scene with a heavy police presence on the West Boulevard and Highway 31 in Montgomery. WSFA 12 News reporter Simon Schuessler has been out there on the scene now for about an hour. Simon, give us the very latest. What can you tell us is going on out there?
Yeah, Judd, well, there's nothing confirmed by any law enforcement agency yet, but what we do know is what we can see. And it seems that the investigation here, which is at the intersection of Birmingham Highway and the Western Boulevard, is focusing in on that car that our photographer Ted is zooming in on right now. We know that there is probably between 15 to 20 Montgomery police cars out here. I have seen alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, so that's federal law enforcement out here. What they do is help combat drug trafficking and help trace weapons. And we've been able to see what appears to be a yellow evidence marker on that car that seems to be the subject of this investigation. Now, as to what officers are investigating, we still don't know. We don't have any details from any agency. We've reached out to both state and Montgomery police. They both acknowledged our request for comment, but obviously still early in the investigation, and they will get us those details as soon as possible. But there is a tent out here. It's not visible in the shot, but it seems like it may be a long day out here for law enforcement. If they're setting up that tent, there's several law enforcement officers under that tent. But they have allowed traffic to go southbound here on Birmingham Highway, but going north on Birmingham Highway, which is where this scene is, that is still completely blocked off. So if you are traveling in and around Birmingham Highway, near where it intersects with Highway 31, there's a Marathon gas station to my left over here. If you're familiar with that landmark, it's kind of the back way to get to Prattville if you don't take the interstate. So if you travel that route around this time, be aware there may be some delays, especially if you're heading northbound. But as far as any confirmed details, Judd, nothing yet, but what I can see is a pretty large presence.
All right, Simon, thank you. And he'll be out there gathering information. We'll much more on this later today here on WSFA 12 News. Again, if you're traveling from Montgomery to Prattville, you don't want to use the interstate instead of that Birmingham Highway, Highway 31 area. As you can see from that video and that live look right there, that is blocked right now. We'll have much more on this later on today right here on WSFA 12 News. First at 4, of course, you can check out our website, WSFA.com, and WSFA, the 12 News app as well for the very latest on that situation out there.
All right, so that was our report from WSFA 12 News at noon on air. We're going to bring you back to just the digital version of this that has just the live stream. And I'm going to bring back in Jessica Umbro so she can kind of set the scene again for us.
Yeah, so what we saw just a few moments ago, and it was a little bit far away, but what it appeared to be was a police officer or another member of law enforcement, first responder, walking by with what appeared to be gloves on and a bag. So typically what that usually is evidence that's put in that bag. So that appeared that the person had come out from behind the car in that wooded area, in that grassy area, I should say, that this car is in. So that may be the focus of some of their investigation. Obviously, we don't know exactly what evidence that would be that they're collecting in that area. It's a little bit difficult to see, obviously, when you've got all of these police cars in the way. So there is limited on what we can see. There might be something obviously behind there that we won't be able to see until that police presence does kind of lighten up. But for now, even though we talked about taking a different route and there were some cars that were going through, typically best practice, if you can take I-65, take a different route. Don't go near this if you can. Obviously, they are letting some people through, but just to allow the investigation to continue on, if you can take 65, that definitely is preferred. In the comments section, I know that we're seeing some people saying what they've heard, what they've seen. We're working to confirm all of those details with police, so that's why nothing is being said on our end as of right now. Obviously, we know word can travel fast, people see things, but we're just waiting on law enforcement to give us that definitive word that we can get the most accurate information out to you as possible. So I'm seeing on the screen that, yeah, just a few minutes ago, there were some more police officers and law enforcement who were walking out from behind that car. So it appears closer in the direction of the Marathon gas station where this car on that side of the road was. It looks like there were maybe about 4 officers who were there. One of them, like I said, appeared to have an evidence bag with him walking off closer to the road itself. So I'm seeing the camera move a little bit. We've got Simon who is continuing to give details for this.
That is actually...
Oh, I was a few minutes behind on that.
Sorry, that was a few minutes behind on our stream here.
Okay, so we'll continue with what is currently going on. Obviously, we have this image that's fixed on here. When we see all of these police units out there, we might just be seeing them react to what they have received calls for, at least. We might see in the next half hour or so, some of the units start to pull back. That's just typically what happens in situations like this. Obviously can't speak on this one specifically, but there appears to be somebody who's going over to the car, who I can't tell if it is a law enforcement officer based on the t-shirt, but there is somebody who is around the car with another member of law enforcement. So that seems to be the focus of all of this, even though we don't see a ton of police officers over there. It's difficult to see what the rest of them are doing, obviously, on the scene. We had seen those couple of tents that are in the median area of this. We're seeing a few more people coming out of the grassy area who have vests on, who are clearly members of one of the agencies who are here responding on the scene. And just to kind of recap, we don't just have Montgomery police here. We do have some ambulance and medical services who are on the scene. We have some Montgomery police officers who are designated as having canine units. We saw ATF and a cooler go by. We're not exactly sure yet as to why that cooler was brought out, if it was for evidence or maybe it was just because it's very hot, which is obviously a part of this.
Hot, yeah.
Yes, and that's definitely gonna play a role in potentially how quickly they try and get through this, because it's clearly very, very hot out for members of law enforcement.
And I would point out that these law enforcement officers, they're taking their time. They don't look like they're in any hurry. So read what you want into that. We've read some of the comments and stuff, and I want to kind of point out real quick the difference between what you're seeing from us here at WSFA 12 News as opposed to what you may see from somebody who's just Facebook live streaming. We don't have the ability to share information with you that's not confirmed. That is very frustrating for us. We're sure it's very frustrating for you as well. So we will tell you the things that we do not know. We don't know at this point if anybody's been shot. We don't know if police are still looking for anybody. We don't know if police have taken somebody to the hospital. We don't know why this situation started. Those are all questions that we are actively asking police right now so that we can give you confirmed information the first time that we say it.
Yes, we always say we'd rather get it right than get it done first and be incorrect. So as we said before, we have reached out to the Montgomery Police Department and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency for any information. As we're standing here, John is refreshing his email, waiting for that information to come in. And as soon as we get that confirmed information, we'll be sure to get it out to you, whether we're able to provide it on this live stream or if Simon would be able to include it in his live on-camera footage that he's been gathering for us along with our photographer. So again, what we're seeing, it looks like some more attention is being given to this car. I'm sure that we'd be zooming out in the next couple of minutes or so to see just a little bit more of what that general scene looks like. But obviously, if you're trying to travel northbound on Birmingham Highway near West Boulevard, this is still shut down in that direction. A couple minutes before, we had seen a little bit of a steady stream of cars going southbound. But still, as I said before, probably best practice, if you can, if it's possible, take a different route to stay out of the way of this investigation, because like John said, it does appear that they are taking their time to really get this right, which is definitely a shared priority between law enforcement and WSFA and other platforms. So,
yeah, and we don't want to get in their way. They don't want us in their way. We don't want to get in their way. They're going to do their job. We're going to do ours. We work very well with the police departments, whether it be the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, the Montgomery Police Department. We are very professional. They're very professional. So it's kind of a dance here. We're waiting on the information, but we're also on the scene, so we have that ability to watch what they're doing. We're just trying not to speculate about the overall situation, about what happened. Although you certainly could. It would certainly be easy to do.
Absolutely. I just saw another member of law enforcement who appeared to have a bag, which we can guess it might be evidence. It might just be another piece of the car. Obviously, when it crashes, you would have some pieces of the bumper, of the other, low-hanging parts of the car that I'm blanking on right now, going out into the grassy area. So that's something that we're looking out for.
Yeah, and I'm curious about the vehicle. We have the shot on the vehicle. You see the yellow evidence marker on the hood. Mm-hmm. I can't, from this vantage point, see any gunshots in the vehicle. Certainly can't see any in the windshield. Mm-hmm. The car certainly has some front end damage, so don't know if that's from this particular situation or if it was damaged prior to this, but certainly something that we're hoping to get information on.
Yep, it appears that they're giving that car a little bit. Let's see, more and more members. It seems like a lot of law enforcement officers had gone in the grassy area closer to Marathon. Not sure if typically in these cases, I'll say more bluntly, I haven't worked much with Montgomery Police Department in this job, but as far as Lexington Police Department in Kentucky, they would always kind of go out to the outer perimeter of where they think that it's an area of focus and move their way back inwards. That might be what we're seeing now as to why officers maybe went out closer to the Marathon gas station, and we're now starting to see them one by one get a little bit closer. So we keep seeing people walking by, some with gloves, some with bags. We've got a wide shot now that we're going back to with our photographer. It appears not much has changed as far as a few cars kind of stagnant going through on the southbound side of this road. But it doesn't look like obviously nobody's going northbound on this. So if you're trying to go northbound on this, can reiterate it a bunch of times, but you should be taking I-65 because you will get stuck at this. Even though the light is green, you'll see the light's green. Nobody is going through this. So doesn't look like much has changed as of right now. Like I said, we're still refreshing all of the emails that we're waiting on from Montgomery Police Department and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. So it looks like more law enforcement is going through in the area of the car, and beyond it, we just can't see. So we're a little limited on what we can say because we can't see it. So as soon as we do get that information, Simon Schuessler is still on the scene, waiting for more details, trying to see if there's anything else that pans out that we can report to you. But for now, that seems to be all that there is. You can see in this wide shot, though, that northbound is definitely cut off. Southbound, haven't seen it in a couple of minutes, but there were a few cars going past that ambulance in the direction heading what it appears to be towards the camera. So we're going to keep monitoring if this has a more significant traffic effect going through the later hours of the afternoon. But for now, northbound shut down, southbound limited cars going through. Again, not sure if those are people who were kind of stuck in that area when this first went down. So best course of action is to take a different route.
So it looks like one by one, very slowly, some of the law enforcement vehicles are actually starting to depart the scene. It's still a very active scene, but don't know what the specific agents in those specific vehicles, their tasks are. They're leaving for some reason, but still a very active scene. But there are some vehicles that are leaving. We have a white van that is now leaving the scene. No idea what the white van is involved. Obviously, it's involved because it's in that situation, but white van is now leaving the scene. We're getting our first indication that Montgomery Police Chief Jim Grayboys is on the scene, talking to some police officers, kind of 2 or 3 police officers huddled together. No idea what he's talking about, but Montgomery's police chief now confirmed to be on the scene. That is Montgomery Police Chief Jim Grayboys getting back into a law enforcement SUV. He has not left the scene yet. Oh, yeah, he is leaving the scene. Hopefully we'll get some information from him at some point today, too. We will note that there is certainly the possibility that we will not get confirmed information while this scene is active. But WSFA 12 News, even if this camera shot goes down and we stop broadcast or stop streaming, we're still looking for information. So the best way to get that information as soon as we have it is to make sure that you have the WSFA 12 News app downloaded on your phone. The digital team here at WSFA, will make sure that that story gets pushed out immediately after we get that information confirmed, if we don't get it confirmed on this live stream. We still have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 law enforcement vehicles that I can see. I know there's some beyond the ones that I can see. I see a fire rescue vehicle. I'm not sure if that's an ambulance or a fire rescue vehicle of some sort. And then you have the suspect's vehicle off in the grass. We cannot see beyond these 4 or 5 law enforcement vehicles on camera to see what's beyond that, what the scene entails, other than we know that there are at least 2 tents that have been set up by law enforcement. But we continue to watch. All right, WSFA 12 News is getting some information into our inbox from the Montgomery Police Department. Give us just a second here to read it.
Okay, so what it looks like, and we're reading this for the first time, it says that at about 10:30 a.m., officers were trying to stop a vehicle that they said have 3 people in it. They called them subjects of interest in reference to an active first-degree assault investigation. They say that this police pursuit ended around the intersection of Birmingham Highway and West Boulevard. That's where we know the scene to be. At time, all 3 occupants abandoned the vehicle and fled on foot. So it says during the subsequent foot pursuit, one of the suspects pulled out a firearm, faced with an imminent lethal threat. They say, quote, an officer discharged their service weapon in self-defense. They say that the suspect sustained life-threatening injuries, and they say at the time they began to render aid before Montgomery Fire and Rescue got on the scene. The suspect was taken to a local hospital for emergency medical treatment. They do say that no officers with Montgomery Police Department were injured during this incident. They do say that the other 2 suspects were successfully apprehended at the scene, and they were brought to the Criminal Investigation Division for further investigation. They say as well, multiple high-capacity firearms were recovered on the scene. They call this an active and ongoing investigation. They say because of departmental policy and to protect the integrity of the investigation, no further details or identities will be released at this time. So kind of the key things here, we've got one person who they say had brought out a firearm in the direction of law enforcement officers. Law enforcement officers then responded, in the words of Montgomery Police Department, in self-defense. So they say one person has life-threatening injuries. The other 2 seem to be okay. They did not mention any type of medical aid for the other 2 people who were involved in this. All 3 were occupants of the same vehicle that was being pursued by the Montgomery Police Department. So they do say this investigation has been turned over to ALEA, the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. It will be released by their SBI division as it becomes available. Montgomery Police also says anybody with any information about this incident should be coming forward with a couple different phone numbers. You can reach out to the police department directly at 334-625-2651, or you can reach out to Crime Stoppers at 334-215-STOP. Also, you could refer to it as 334-215-7867. So these tips can be anonymous, and any information could be very vital to this ongoing investigation. So that is the press release that we just got in the past few minutes from the Montgomery Police Department about this incident that has now been going on for roughly 2 hours. So we have Simon Schusler, who is live at the scene, who will be providing updates on air as well with all these details. We're going to have all this information uploaded to our website as well, so you can read the details that have been provided by the Montgomery Police Department. So just to recap again, 1 suspect shot, 2 others in custody. It sounds like, according to Montgomery Police Department, that no law enforcement officers were hit by any type of gunfire or injured in this incident. We'll be waiting to get more updates from them, and not necessarily Montgomery Police Department, but they do say that this has been carried over to ALEA, so we'll hear from them as these details become available.
And I think that we got Simon Schusler going to go live here in just a second. Nope, he says he's going to do it in just a minute. So, I said a minute ago we may not get any information.
And we did.
We did.
That's the type of thing that we see with these, is that we'll see kind of a stalling of any information for a while, and then we'll get it all at once. And I say all at once. This seems to be the extent that we're going to get, at least in the immediate, before this investigation goes further. So we did see them out with bags collecting evidence out on the scene. Now that we know that it was a foot pursuit, what they may have been collecting were any items belonging to the people who had fled on foot, that marker on the car that could have been involved with this incident with police, where they felt that they needed to, in self-defense, fire their own firearms. So that might be a little bit of the background as to why we were seeing law enforcement officers going into more of that grassy area rather than staying directly on the street where this sounds like it all took place.
So you're seeing Simon here, and he hasn't actually talked yet. This is where the digital side and the TV side kind of mix. He's waiting on a live hit on air. We're going to get him in just a second when he actually has a second to talk on the digital side.
And he's getting caught up on these details as well. So you see him checking his email. That's the information that was just sent out by the Montgomery Police Department. So as I said before, we have already reached out to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency about any details that they're able to provide. So we will be keeping our inboxes open, of course, and updating on air and online if the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency has anything else that they can provide as to what led up to this. I think that's the biggest question as of now. They did talk a little bit about how there was an assault case that they were investigating, which is what led to this, but we haven't gotten any of the details as far as who was involved, any specific names, the amount of police officers who were involved in this police chase, for example. So those are some of the details that we might hear later on in the investigation, whether it's today or in the next couple of days, as that becomes something that they feel that they can release without jeopardizing any part of this investigation.
So we were about an hour and 15 minutes into this live stream, and we've finally gotten the information that Jessica has kind of provided to us. Officer-involved shooting, one suspect has been shot. You said critical or life-threatening?
I think it said life-threatening, but let me just double-check before we say that. It says life-threatening injuries. So one suspect with life-threatening injuries.
And then 2 others in custody, and we'll find out at some point the names of each of these subjects or suspects, as police have called them.
Two, three, four, five. Mic check, 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 check. One. Okay, cool. We're about 20 seconds away.
And you were going to watch Simon do a live hit on air that we're just going to take here on the digital side. So you get the mic checks and everything.
9, 8, 7.
News we told you about at the start of the show. Right now we have a crew on the scene. There's heavy police presence on the Western Boulevard at Highway 31 in Montgomery. We have some new information right now from WSFA 12 News reporter Simon Schuessler, who's been on the scene right now for more than an hour. So Simon, get us up to speed. What have we learned in the last 30 minutes?
Well, Judd, we've learned that this was an officer-involved shooting. Now, no MPD officers have been injured, but there is one suspect in life-threatening condition. Now, according to MPD, this happened around 10:24 this morning when they attempted to pull a vehicle over in connection with a first-degree assault investigation. Now, there were 3 people in the car. The suspect that ended up getting shot, according to MPD, it was because that suspect had brandished a firearm and an officer feared for his life or their life. The other 2 suspects have been apprehended after trying to flee on foot, and they are now in the being investigated by police. Now, as you said, Judd, this is at the intersection of the Western Boulevard and Birmingham Highway. Southbound traffic is back open, but that's northbound. It's still blocked off. Police are still got a tent set up over here. No word on an identity of any of the suspects at this time. We are still waiting on information from that. But any other information that we get is going to have to come from state law enforcement because this investigation has been handed over to them. Now, we also have seen federal law enforcement, in fact, out here. That's the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, which help investigate drug trafficking and certain types of gun tracing analysis. So that's what we have so far. I'm just scanning this press release that we got in for any other main information because, you know, this is all very, very new, but that seems to be the majority of it right there. One suspect in life-threatening condition, 2 others apprehended. No officers were hurt, but officer did have to discharge their firearm about 2 hours ago out here at the intersection of West Boulevard and Birmingham Highway, Judd.
All right, Simon, thank you for the update. New information at the end of our noon newscast as well. He just let us know an officer involved shooting a suspect suffered serious injuries. This is a story we will continue to follow and bring you the very latest later today coming up on WSFA 12 News, first at 4.
Set the opening bid.
Okay, folks, you have been listening for the last hour and 15 to 20 minutes to a WSFA 12 News live stream on our website and our apps of a situation in Montgomery. We've now confirmed that it is an officer-involved shooting in a high-speed chase. One suspect shot, 2 others in custody. We're going to go ahead and wrap this live stream up. We're going to get a story out on our website with all the details, and we will see you very soon.